Hello everyone, Jester Bell is back with a little brief video today. As a lot of you might have known, the Snyder Cut of Justice League came out. It came out the week of this recording that I'm doing this, and a lot of people were excited about it, and a lot of people just ignored it. We don't have numbers of how it did yet. I'm sure it initially is going to do great numbers because it has a fan base that's very hyped about it. I gotta be honest with you, and this is gonna come up at the end of my video. I am not at all a fan of Zack Snyder's DC-verse, if you will. I think that he is a director with a problem where he has a lot of ideas and he presents them in a really he presents them in a really pretentious way where he's far more focused on the visuals and the emotion of it than really communicating his story. Um, and so I'm like, I haven't seen I know that, yeah, everyone says that the original Justice League 2017 was Joss Whedon's movie. I'm not really into the DCU in general, so I'm just like, I haven't even seen that movie. I'm sure it's terrible. I haven't seen it, but I'm not interested in Snyder's vision, even if it's slightly better than that movie. I mean, it's like, would you like to see a bad movie or a slightly better movie? Well, I'd rather not see a bad movie at all. But I wanted to just talk really fast that Jared Leto's Joker finally made an appearance back in this show. Kind of a big deal because he is considered the worst Joker, but he does have some people who think that he deserved redemption because his scenes were cut from the original Suicide Squad movie. So he's back, and I just wanted to bring it up. Like, how is he? Is he any better? Have they finally redeemed him? Not really. So look-wise, I don't think it's hard to get better than the tattooed, damaged gangster look of 2016 that's so mocked. But he doesn't really look any better or more respectable in this version. It's weird, and it's like they think that if they just try to match Heath Ledger's Joker look somehow, that they're going to be successful with it. You can see that with him. He has like this straightened long hair, like that's kind of a mixture of the long hair look that Heath Ledger popularized for the Joker, and also I feel like Jared Leto, that's what he looks like in real life, so he has to look like that. He's got then this was a weird part because in the DCEU, the Joker is just bleached skin, right? That's the origin where he fell into the vat of chemicals, as opposed to the Dark Knight where he just puts on makeup. This has like red lipstick smeared across his face, like Heath Ledger. But I'm like, isn't his lips just bleached? This is the bleached skin origin. Are his lips just bleached? What is that? So he looks like the Crow. He looks like Marilyn Manson. He looks like a butcher. He doesn't really look like the Joker. So I saw his look and I was just like, I don't really care. I don't really like this version. So they do the scene, the nightmare sequence, and Batman is apparently teamed up with Joker in the future to try to stop the apocalyptic future of Darkseid. And here's a little bit here that I liked. How the Joker is basically trying to tear down Batman by talking about all the people he's lost. And he brings up his parents. He apparently knows everything about Batman now. He brings up Robin. There's a little mention of how Joker killed Robin, which we never got to see in the DCEU, even though it was a thing. And then so he's trying to get under Bruce's skin with that. And then all Bruce needs to do is he mentions Harley Quinn. And he mentions not only that she died brutally, but that she died wishing the Joker to brutally die as well. And this really upsets the Joker, and but then he's like literally shaking that Bruce is saying this to him, and he exposes a moment of vulnerability, but then he says, "You almost had me there." And this is an ambiguous moment because people think that it could either mean that the Joker knows this is true, but is just brushing it off because he doesn't want to be affected, or that he doesn't believe that Harley would say that about him, and that's why he says, "Oh, you just had me there." Either is up for interpretation. The reason why I find it interesting is for a while I was kind of following the history of the Suicide Squad movie, the original one, 2016, because I was invested in the characters of Joker and Harley, and I just wanted to know what the original version was going to be. And this movie seems to go back to that original version where the Joker, and this is what was weird, is he was going to have strong feelings for Harley, and he would have kind of this back and forth relationship where he would feel that Harley was his weakness on one minute, and he'd try to push her away, sometimes very cruelly, brutally, and other times he would swing back and want her back. And in David Ayer's original vision, as far as I understand, this would push Harley away, and essentially Harley would be pushed away from Joker, but Joker would still have a thing for her, and that's how the movie was kind of supposed to end. It might have had a little swing back where Harley swings back to Joker at the end, but I'm not sure. They haven't been clear on that. But I thought this was a little bit interesting as just kind of a look into what could have been, and it's just kind of confusing because Harley's character has become so messed up in so many versions now, and it just kind of makes me peer into the past a bit. Like, was this where it all started? Like, because she got over Joker in the comics just a few months before Suicide Squad came out, and it always struck me as odd because I was like, why would you do that right when they're about to have their big movie together? But knowing that the original version would have had her get over him, and then they changed it in March, which, by the way, was a month after they did that in comics, and changed her hair to have the pink and blue and the bleached blonde to match her up with the movies. I'm thinking, okay, maybe they changed that in the comics possibly to match it with the movie to justify Ayer's vision, and then they just had no idea it would be changed like that. So I just thought it was a little bit interesting to peer into the past, but it's just a little bit crazy, and I wrote this on my Twitter, that these days, many versions of the Joker are made out to care about Harley, and she's made out to not care about him or hate him, and I just say it's just a total upside down world. So, I'm glad that she was mentioned here because I'm glad that they had made that connection, but it's just kind of weird to peer back in what would have been for the DCEU had they gone in that direction. But I watched the scene, and Jared Leto, there was like this slight moment with him where he says, "A truce, Bruce." And it sounded a little bit like Mark Hamill. And that was like the 2 seconds of it where I'm like, maybe I can get behind this Joker. Maybe he's doing a better job. But I overall feel watching the scene like he's just doing what he did in Suicide Squad. He's just kind of, weaving around and talking a little weird, and this scene which is trying to be really, really deep, and then there's just not enough time to explore all that Zack Snyder wants. And so I'm just like, this really isn't my Joker still, and I really am not into this universe. And when Batman says he will kill the Joker very forcefully, very intensely, a lot of people were just loving that, but I'm like, I'm not into a Batman who kills. That's not Batman. I don't care if people say that Batman's no-kill rule doesn't make sense. That's who Batman is. And if Batman wanted to kill the Joker, he would have done it a long time ago. Why doesn't he do it right then? Why didn't he do it any of these times? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And so I watched this, and I want to be happy for people who have been wanting to see this and who got to see what they wanted to see. At the same time, Zack Snyder is kind of being propped up as kind of the king of the fans. Like, he's giving the fans what they want. His DC universe, not directly his, but part of his universe is just something that really, really messed up the characters from what they were supposed to be in the first place, with David Ayer's Joker, with a Batman who kills, the darker Superman, with what they were going to do with Harley, which might have started with this universe. I just look back on it and I'm like, this is a messed up universe. This is a universe that is going against what the characters are, and I thought that people are supposed to be against that. They're supposed to wanting us to stay true to the characters. But so why is Zack Snyder's Justice League seen as like this like pioneer and giving the fans what they want? What about all the people? And there are a lot of people out there who are just straight up not interested in the Snyder Cut. They love Justice League, they love these characters, but they're not interested in that. And do they not count as fans? Why is it that we're all having to get behind the Snyder Cut right now as what's truly out there for the fans? Like, there are more fans, and there are more fans who just don't like what's happened with the characters, and I gotta say I'm one of them. So it's just, and I don't have a problem. This is more of a problem that studios have, where they fracture these characters and properties and create arguments between what people want. That's the real problem, but I just don't know why everyone is making it out like we need a rally behind the Snyder Cut because it's what the fans want, when it's not what everyone wants. So, those are my thoughts on the Snyder Cut and my thoughts on Jared Leto. Let me know, did you watch the Snyder Cut? Did you pay for HBO Max to see the Snyder Cut? Or did you just watch it somewhere else? Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think is going to happen with DC next? Do you think that they're going to try to stick with the Snyderverse now? Or are they going to try to do something that appeals to yet another group of people? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.